Hi, this is Jim Fisher. This is the third way. Not left, not right, but the third way. Today I wanted to talk about the economics of war. To start off, I wanted to explain something that's known in economics as the broken glass fallacy. And to some economists, the broken glass theory, I guess they would say, people that are proponents of it. This is the same logic that, economists that support this kind of logic is what brings you programs like, Cash for Clunkers. By the logic of Cash for Clunkers, you can, give a tax break for cars, smash up those cars, force people to buy new cars, and that's just great for the economy. So, if it worked, we should just all go home, smash up all our TVs and stereos, and smash up our cars, and smash up our refrigerators, and smash up our stoves, and, just think of how great that would be. The economy would just take off. Destruction of needed and demanded goods is not good for the economy. So let me start by explaining the broken glass fallacy. The broken glass fallacy story kind of goes like this. A young kid, a hoodlum, throws a brick through a baker's front window and takes off. And the baker comes out. He's very upset. A crowd of people come over, standing around, look at him, and the baker's thinking, this sucks. Now I got to pay for this window, and all the people standing around, and one guy chirps up and says, hey, just think of what you're doing for the economy. Now you're going to have to hire somebody to fix that window. It's going to cost you $250. That $250 is now going to be made by the glass repairman. He has an extra $250 to spend on something else. Whatever he buys, that person has $250. And the goodness just perpetuates itself right through the economy till everybody gets their hands on that $250 and gets some type of productive good from it. And it's just an awesome way to go. We should just smash all the windows in the world. And the reason why it's a fallacy is because we think of the glass maker, we think of, not the glass maker, but the glass repairman. We think of the person that he spends money on. We think of what we can see. We can see the glass repairman come. We can see the glass repairman spend that money he makes on something else, and that person get the benefit. And that's what we can see. What we don't think of is what's known as the lost opportunity. The lost opportunity is the baker himself. He one day had a window and $250 extra. And then the next day, he's out $250, but still has the window because he paid to get it replaced. So, had the broken window not occurred, he still would have had the $250 to spend. He would have spent it on something, say a new suit. The tailor would have got the new suit. The tailor would have made him the new suit. The tailor would have spent the $250 on something. And the perpetuation still goes on. The difference is, it's the lost opportunity. You never see it, so you don't think about it. But had the broken glass not happened, the lost opportunity would have happened. The difference is, the baker would have had a window and the $250, and whatever good he would have bought with the $250. So he'd have a window and some new good worth $250. And that's the lost opportunity. And the perpetuation still would have gone on with whatever he bought with that $250. That person would have spent the money, and so on and so on. So, in the two different scenarios, the broken glass and the non-broken glass, the perpetuation of the $250 still exists. The difference is, one of them, the baker has the added benefit of the good purchase with the $250 that's not a window. And he still has a window. So, the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people believe in another fallacy that World War II took us out of the Great Depression. And most people believe that because if you look at the numbers in unemployment, the Great Depression, they were anywhere from 19 to 25%, depending on what year. I think 1937 was one of the worst, around 25%. And then when World War II hit, we had almost full employment. We were down to like 3 or 4% unemployment, which is basically considered full employment. And so if you go by that logic, that full employment is economic prosperity, ask your grandparents how prosperous World War II was. Ask them whether they were rationing their cheese and rationing wheat, how wonderful and those economic times were, when they couldn't buy a tire, they couldn't buy beer, they couldn't buy all kinds of goods were unavailable. That's not economic prosperity. Yes, it's full employment, everybody's to work, but when you're rationing goods that you didn't have to ration even during the Great Depression, that's not economic prosperity. And, the reason why people believe that this is economic prosperity is because the rate of unemployment was down to 0, or 3 or 4%, which is considered nothing. If by that logic we are experiencing economic prosperity, we could just take all the unemployed, pay half of them to dig a ditch, and pay the other half to fill it in. That would be full employment, and you would be simulating exactly what the war does for you, which is put all kinds of resources into non-productive goods, meaning we're building tanks and missiles and things that nobody wants. They can only be used for war. That is not economic prosperity. Not to mention the amount of destruction that happens. Houses and cities that get smashed and need to be rebuilt. And now after the war, you spend all your resources rebuilding the destruction rather than building actual demanded goods that people can use. So, World War II taking us out of the Depression is a fallacy. It was a depression right through the war. There was less goods available during the war than there was before and after. Shortly after the war, 1946, America went into a recession, lasted about 12 to 18 months, and only after that, in 1947, did we hit economic prosperity. So it is a fallacy that World War II took us out of the Great Depression. War is not good for the economy. Not only is it not good for the economy, there's a whole slew of problems with war, and that it gives politicians in a crisis to bring you all kinds of regulation that you would never otherwise stomach. Think of 9/11. That brought us the TSA. Oh, we all needed the TSA after 9/11. We had the crisis. Ask anybody if they want the TSA there now. And you know what? We're stuck with it. And every time we have a war, it gives them a crisis to give us more tyranny and take away more of our rights, and you don't get them back. So that's kind of my spiel on war and the economics of war. This is Jim Fisher signing off for The Third Way. Not left, not right, but The Third Way.